Welcome to Scorched Earth. This is going to be a mid-month reading for the sign of Virgo, Sun, Moon and Ascendant. It's going to be shorter than the monthly reads because it's just covering a 2-week period from the 15th to the 31st of May. So I'm going to pull 3 cards for your current energy, 3 cards for what's coming towards you, and 3 cards of advice. And try not to pull any clarifiers, but I'm open to breaking my own rule if necessary. So that's enough shuffling there, so let's get you 3 cards. 3 cards for Virgo, please. It's a page of Earth. Tried to jump there but didn't. 3 cards for Virgo, please. I've got the 7 of Skies, 5 of Skies, oh dear. Virgo card. The Hermit has flipped there, but I'm not going to take it. Let's have a look. 1 more card for Virgo's current energy, please. Oh, okay. It looks like you're in a pretty difficult energy at the moment. At the bottom of the deck, we've got the 4 of Skies. That talks about taking a break, taking a step back from things. And this could be from, you know, a relationship or circumstances, situations, people. Could be that. Or it could just be about, you know, sort of stepping back and really considering things. Maybe retreating, tactical retreat, something like that. The cards that you've got for your current energy are the 7 of Skies, the 5 of Skies, and the 3 of Skies. Now these are all swords in a standard deck, and this is quite uncomfortable energy. 7 of Swords, 5 of Swords, and 3 of Swords. I might actually pull some clarifiers. Now, that one there. So, the first card is the 7 of Skies, and that speaks about... It can talk about taking a risk, but it can also talk about deception, right? Now, whether that's deception from someone around you or self-deception, and it's important to you know, use your discernment to work out which one of those applies to you. But there's a sense of your vision being clouded at the moment. I'll pull a clarifier or 2 for that. 7 of Skies, please. 7 of Skies, clarified by the 3 of Swords. Let's have a look. Let's see if there's anything else wants to come out. 7 of Skies. And the 2 of Pentacles. Right. At the bottom of the deck we've got the Hierophant, which is the card of Taurus, which talks about structures in whatever sense. So there can be things like business or schools or, you know, universities, things like that. Or in a wider sense, like, you know, societal structures, like marriage, or just societal expectations. You know, it's very rigid, it's very unyielding. Now, we've got the 3 of Swords and the 2 of Pentacles to clarify the 7 of Swords. And that's not the first time that we've got the 3 of Swords out on the table. So you are in an energy of heartbreak at the moment, right? Absolutely, undoubtedly. The 2 of Pentacles talks about examination. No, it doesn't. Why did I just say that? It talks about balance, right? But what I'm looking at on this card more than anything is the bluebells at the bottom, right? If you know anything about bluebells, apparently they will only grow in ground that has been undisturbed for 25 years, right? So this feels like we're back to this situation of something that you relied on very heavily that has shifted, right? The bluebells indicate longevity, and it's broken your heart. Now, why the 7 of Swords is here is because you could either feel like you have been deceived or you're stuck in self-deception at the moment. Let's have a look. Let's see. Why the 7 of Swords? Let's get some clarity on it. We've got the Page of Wands. Swords, please. The Seven of Cups. Yeah, it feels very unstable, this energy. Like this particular Seven of Cups is pretty distressing as well, because it's like being hunted down by beasts. You'll have to take it as it resonates to you, because it's not entirely clear from the cards whether you're deceiving yourself or you feel deceived by someone else. But the ultimate result is that you feel very heartbroken about it, and you're now examining everything. Like there's a real, your Virgo over-analytical side is kicking in, maybe a bit of overthinking, but it's like you're pulling apart everything, right? Looking for clues anywhere. And I think that you're struggling with the balance at the moment. The next card that you've got is the Five of Skies, and that's the Five of Swords. And that often talks, well, because it's a five, it talks about unstable energy, right, in regard to communication. And it's depicted in lots of different ways. You know, sometimes there's a chap holding some swords and there are other people walking away. But in this one, there's an active conflict going on here, right? This is a war of words. Between you and another, or perhaps you and yourself, you know, I could see it being conflicting thoughts. It's Five of Skies here. Yeah. And whichever way round it is, actually, the end result is the same, because it's about what you thought you wanted and how you see yourself. It feels like that's been undermined in some way. Just the fact that your overall energy, like right across the board, is swords, from the shadow card right through all of the main cards. You're far too up in your head about this. And I know for a Virgo, that's you know, a kind of standard place to be. But if it's coming to the point where it's undermining the way that you see yourself, if it's undermining what you thought you wanted, you know, there's sometimes with this card a slightly delusional aspect to it. Right? Swords, Queen of Cups. Yeah, it feels like a relationship. We've got the Queen of Cups, Seven of Swords on the bottom of the deck here now as well. Right? This is kind of you feeling like you've been deceived in some way. It's struggling to find the balance with it. And primarily, I'm going to tell you now, collectively, Virgo, it's because you're too up in your head about it, right? So we've got the Three of Swords, again, heartbreak, again. You know, look at these trees, right? They should be beautiful blooming trees, but they look like they've been torn down, yeah? By lightning strike or something. What about the Three of Skies? Why is that here? We've got the Four of Wands, the Two of Swords, and the Nine of Wands. Yeah. At the bottom of the deck now we've got the Two of Wands, which talks about a crossroads, right? And I feel like you're at the crossroads, and you know you're at the crossroads because we've got the Two of Swords in between these two cards here. But it's almost like you don't really know which way to go, right? Backwards, right? Because it's kind of to the left, it's the past. We've got home, right? And what you thought you had, what you thought you understood. And this doesn't have to be a partnership. This could be, you know, family situation. This could be, you know, it could even be work, actually, if you want to see it like that. But you're kind of stuck in your head. And you just kind of want things to go back to the way that they were before, because the way you're sitting now is Three of Swords, broken-hearted, feeling kind of fucked up. Like battle-weary. And yet there's still this active conflict in your mind. Whether it's actually being expressed as a conflict with someone, or whether you're just conflicted by yourself, I'm not sure. But it's uncomfortable. Right, let's have a look and see what's coming towards you. What's coming towards Virgo for the last 2 weeks? Ooh, last 2 weeks of May. That's the first one. What's coming towards Virgo? Fuck a duck. Jesus. What's coming towards Virgo? That one almost landed in my candle. Oh. Okay. What's coming towards Virgo? Right. Okay. So, we've got the Knight of Oceans, which is the Knight of Cups, Strength but in reverse, and then the Tower and the King of Oceans. Let's get the Knight of Oceans. Whoa. Cards are sliding all over the place at the moment. Yeah, see, we've got the Nine of Pentacles and the Three of Swords to clarify the Knight of Oceans. Now, the Knights indicate movement, right? And because this is of the oceans, it's of the water, and you know, that's feelings and emotions in the tarot, right? What's coming towards you is an expression of love in some regard, but it doesn't make you feel comforted in any way, right? These two here speak to me of isolation. Like something about the communication, the feeling that comes towards you leaves you feeling worse. Well, leaves you feeling exactly the same as you were before, actually. I'll pull from another deck for that. Right. Looking at these cards, I wonder if maybe it's not. It's more of an expectation of an approach and it non-forthcoming. Because we've got the Ten of Pentacles, which speaks to me, you know, of longevity and commitment and all of those things. Sometimes business, sometimes family, which is clarified by the King of Pentacles. But notice how the King of Pentacles has got a sack on his back and he's leaving. Right? I feel like there's an expectation that you have of an approach that doesn't come, because actually the King of Pentacles is headed off that way and he's leaving the Ten of Pentacles behind, right? Which leaves you very much in this energy here. And then we've got death. Like, this is an ending, a transformation rather, of the situation as was into something new. It's going to leave you feeling pretty disempowered, right? I hate to see the Strength card this way up. Because there's a helplessness about it. The thing is, it's almost a willing disempowerment though, because putting all of your eggs in one basket, you know, hanging everything, hanging the healing of your broken heart on this, is in effect a kind of control, right? It's a kind of an attempt to control circumstances rather than yourself. Right? So the ultimate result of that will be disempowerment if it doesn't go the way that you want it. And what you should be looking at is ways to empower yourself from within rather than externally. Let's hear about the Strength card, please, in reverse. Howie, come on. Hear about the Strength in reverse, please. Ooh. High Priestess. And the Page of Swords. Got the Two of Cups at the bottom of the deck. You know, this is absolutely talking about a relationship. But with the High Priestess here, it could talk about things that you're not currently aware of, right? Secrets, things that are hidden. coming to light, because it's come up with the Page of Swords. Like that's kind of like receiving information about secret things, potentially. But as it pertains to the Strength card being in the reverse, it's almost like pull another card. High Priestess has just dropped out again. So the other thing that the High Priestess talks about is duality and balance, right? Because she's a pillar card. She's depicted with pillars on either side, and she sits between the end and the beginning, and I feel like that's where you are at the moment, right? And this has been going on for months. It's you're not quite ready to start anew because you haven't released old yet. Right? And your own internal balance at this point is more important, because that's going to be the thing that empowers you, where you're kind of disempowered at the moment. Tell me about the Page of Swords, please. All firing out backwards, that's no good. Tell me about the Page of Swords, please. Well, there's you, Virgo, and the Knight of Pentacles. But you notice how the horse is pointing forwards, but the character's kind of like, anyways, he's holding something up like that, but he's looking backwards. It's almost like you're kind of paying lip service to a new start, a new beginning, a new direction, but you're absolutely looking back and kind of refusing to look at it. Just as, in fact, the Page of Swords is also doing the same. Like his body is all pointed in the right direction, but he's looking back. It's like you're not embracing the new start, you're not embracing the new things, and you are actively kind of powering yourself down as a result. You really need to avoid that wherever possible, Virgo. Is there anything else for strength in the reverse, please? Yeah, just a confirmation, Page of Swords again. Load of cards through down there. Right. The final cards for what's coming towards you are the Tower and the King of Oceans, right? And I feel like this is kind of a shock, right? Maybe is this some of the things that you thought were hidden here. Maybe this is them coming to light. But when the Tower energy comes in, it's really shocking, right? And it rarely feels comfortable. But what it does is it gives you, but it takes away all the stuff that has been improperly built, right? The idea being that, you know, whether through lack of maintenance or poor building in the first place, right, this tower that was once really tall and really fine gets hit by lightning and it just kind of falls to the ground, and it's up to you to decide what you want to retrieve from the rubble and try and rebuild. And you could rebuild it where it is, or you could have a look at it and go, actually, I built it in a pretty shit place. I probably should have built it somewhere else, you know. When it comes in, though, it's often because you've had the opportunity multiple times to do the ending for yourself, right? To pull this tower down for yourself. And you've resisted. So then the universe does it for you, right? It pulls everything down. And it seems to be potentially about a relationship with someone, right? Now, this could be a Scorpio, because that's what the King of Oceans strictly means, but it could be, you know, Cancer or Pisces. But it could just be someone with whom you had, you know, a long-standing deep emotional relationship with. It seems to be coming down, whatever it is. Tell me about the Tower. Ooh. Tell me about the Tower. See, the got the Ten of Cups at the bottom of the deck now. It feels like a family situation. But what you've got to clarify is the Lovers and the Two of Wands here, and the Six of Wands, right? So the Lovers and the Two of Wands are both cards that speak to me about decision making, you know, like the major and minor arcana versions of the same thing. Whereas this one is kind of hitting a crossroads and going, right, I have to pick a direction, I have to move. Like, I cannot just stand still, right? I'm kind of working it all out logistically before you then employ it out in the 3D. But the Lovers is a major life choice decision, right? This is going to affect the direction that your life goes in here on out. And it feels like the Tower energy is coming in to kind of force you to move, because you haven't moved, Virgo, not in a long time, not in months now. And we've seen it happening. Right, there's been this constant notion of resisting and ending. Now, whether you like it or not, the ending is here, right? And if you weren't aware of it before, then certainly by the end of the month, you're going to be left in no doubt that there's no retrieving this situation and there's no resisting it, right? Two of Swords again, and the Magician. All right, Four of Swords here. It's more sword energy. Sword. Right. The Two of Swords is also about decision making, right? And it's come out to clarify the Lovers. Now, the Two of Swords here, right? This is somebody who is ignoring their feelings and ignoring their intuition, right? They're willfully blinding themselves to the situation because they kind of don't want to move, right? They don't want to move. You're being called to cut the head off the snake now, right? Whatever it is that's paralysed you with fear, this fear of moving forwards, it's time to get rid of that. It's time to cut the head off, right, and move forwards, because you are the architect of your own destiny, right? We've got the Ace of Swords here and the Six of Wands, and it's almost like the truth will set you free here, right? Really understanding the truth and embracing it allows you to kind of pick up, turn around and move on. And this has been something that you have been resisting for a very long time. It's like, because you've resisted it for so long, the matter's being taken out of your hands. The shadow card at the bottom of the deck, the Lost Forest deck here, is the Fool. Like, this new beginning is coming, whether you want it or not, actually, is the truth. And at this point, it is better to turn and embrace it than it is to try and cling on with the last, vestiges of hope that you've got. If it's hope, I mean, it might be fear. If you are feeling truly fearful about the future, it's sort of time for you to question that. Like, question where that's coming from. What is it? Because you've clearly got a broken heart, right? We see that time and time again. It's repeated over and over and over. But you've been in this state for a while. And I've seen nothing here yet that speaks about healing. I'm seeing somebody who's feeling very victimized, right? And we're in charge of ourselves. We're in charge of our own destiny. We're in charge of everything, right? So a conscious choice to heal is something that's got to come from you. It's not something that just happens holistically. And, they say time is a great healer, and it can be, but it isn't always, because sometimes, the way that our brains work is, when we recall things, we recall the last time we recalled it. So if you have been in a state for the last, say, 6 months of constantly reliving difficult situations with no attempt to kind of distance yourself from it enough to be able to look at it objectively, then effectively what you are doing is reliving that heartbreak over and over and over again, day after day after day after day, and potentially compounding it. When what would be a more sensible thing to do would be to kind of employ a level of self-awareness, right? And just get to know yourself a little bit and go, why am I so afraid, right? What is it about going forwards that frightens me so much that I want to go backwards, right? empower yourself. Let's get some cards of advice for Virgo, please. Whoa. Right. Yeah, see. The first card that you've got is the Mage, right? It's the Magician in a normal deck. And this talks about exactly what I was saying. It's about manifesting your own existence, right? Whatever you want in your existence, you aligning your energy, powering yourself up, because, you know, it takes internal strength, aligning your energy with, you know, an excitement about the future, right? If there's something wrong with your life now, only you have the power to change it. That does not fall to anybody else. And it's time for you to take charge, right? Because Page of Earth, we've got a new start here, a tangible new start that you can literally smell. It's wafting under your nose, right? And this is all self-directed. So where I assume there was some sort of support network here, whether it be a partner or a family or, you know, friends or whatever, like, the universe is moving that out of your way for a reason, right? You're moving on a different path now. And you can either be dragged kicking or screaming, and with the Tower coming in, like, that's close to happening. Or you can turn and embrace it and start constructing it yourself, right? Literally start piecing it together, how it will look for you. And remember, the first rule of manifestation is it's just up here first, right? You have to visualize it. You have to see how it is. You have to feel how it will feel when your life is like that, right? And then you start making little steps towards creating that for yourself. The final card that you've got is the Queen of Skies. Now, I think that's really, really interesting because of all the Swords cards that have come up for you, this is the one that I am pleased to see the most, right? All of the other Swords cards are not any use to you whatsoever, but this Queen is. Now, she's a card of Libra, so it might be that there's a Libra around who can give you some decent advice, but I feel like it's more energetic and it's asking you to take it on, right? Now, the Queen of Skies, Queen of Swords, often gets a bad rap for being emotionless, and she's not, right? What she does is she puts things to one side, emotional things to one side, because they are messy, right? Emotions are messy. She's interested only in facts and in what is right, right? She's, for me, the lower echo of the Justice card. So she's kind of like a personification, if you will, of that justice energy coming forwards. She deals in truth, she deals in fact, she deals with logic, right? And what I see here is that your emotions are in turmoil and you're not thinking straight, not at all, right? It's clouding your judgment and it's stopping you seeing the way forwards. Where if you were to put those emotional things to one side, concentrate on more practical matters, right? And in doing what's right, doing what's true, moving forward logically, you will actually create a bit of space for yourself to start instituting those changes prior to the Tower coming in, right? And in doing so, you will empower yourself, right? Because, like I said, the Tower's never comfortable, right? But usually when it appears, you've been given an opportunity, multiple opportunities to sort something out for yourself, and you have not taken them. So this, any small changes that you can make now, that you can implement, will make the Tower less earth-shattering than it could be, right? And that's important. So it's like cushioning it for you a little bit, right? We can't control anyone else. We can only control ourselves and our reactions and our behaviours and all those kind of things. So now's the time to start trying to do that. And it doesn't have to be great, big, huge things, and you don't have to start emperoring around everywhere. It's about little decisions about how you will approach things going forwards, right? And with the Queen of Skies here, that has to be set with a foundation of integrity and truth and reason, right? That's really, really important. But this energy will help you through. So I think there's an extended, yeah, there is an extended. I did one for the main read for the month, but it applies, I think, just as much to this as it did to the last one. So if you haven't seen it, I'll put the link down there and you go and have a look at it if you want. If not, that's all cool. I'll see you in about about a fortnight for the June readings. All right, take care.